Now, she's known as Mkize, following a reality show on a local TV channel. Mkize is a Durban-based businesswoman who recently bought the Royal AM Football Club, and she joins us now in studio for a conversation. Mkize, good morning.
Good morning to you, darling. How are you?
Well, thank you. You dressed up for us to the nines, looking ravishing. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, actually.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yes, I get it. We wanted to get to know you a bit better. Where did your journey into entrepreneurship and being a businesswoman actually begin?
I think it began when I was pregnant with my son. Some were thinking it's just the pregnancy, but I felt like I was tired counting other people's money.
Yeah.
I wanted to count my money.
That's how you felt. You wanted to be your own boss, be your own, manager, and manage your own time and your finances.
The problem is I was working as a bookkeeper. So as a bookkeeper, you count these big monies for other people, and you feel like, hey, maybe let me start counting my money. Why must I keep on counting other people's money and keeping them into shape and telling them how to manage their money? Let me try and see if I can't do it for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've come this far. Not only are you doing that, you're an inspiration to so many people, but I'm sure it wasn't easy. Any trials and tribulations that you want to also warn some entrepreneurs out there about?
I want to tell you something. Every downfall in life, don't take it as a downfall. Just take it as it's something that allows you an opportunity to scrutinize and to do a selection. Because as you climb the heights, you need to know who are the people that deserve to be in your seat. Because sometimes you'll think that the downfall is there for nothing. Everything that happens in your life, it happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And truth be told, whatever that you go through, it's for the selection, it's a selection process, because you need to know who are for you, that you need to take them as you climb and as you escalate those heights,
right,
and take them with you.
You make it look so easy, though. Sometimes when I see you, how you deal with challenges, how you react, how you respond to challenges or confrontation, you make the rest of us feel like, why am I putting a magnifying glass on this issue and not just, smiling my way through? How do you do it also just in terms of your mantra in life?
I think I have no fear. I have no fear mentally, I have no fear psychologically, and I take things as they come because I don't live for people, I live for myself. And if I see an opportunity, I go for it. And, I think when you go for something like that, even when you go down, you say, let me go to it and make sure that I conquer it.
Right. So you confront it, you don't even run away from it. So if there's a flight or fight, you choose the fight to actually deal with it head on. Let's talk about then your transition, and not necessarily transition, but you have a construction company. We also know you as, being in that space, but now into football. Was it a difficult sort of move to make, and how has that experience been compared to your previous business experience?
In construction, I've done my 20 years, and I think my time has come there. I always like something that is challenging, and in football, I came by default, by the way. Yeah, it's my son who loves football.
Yeah. And
knowing me, you know how I support my kids. So my son has been so passionate about soccer from his childhood, and so I went into this football thing by default. And when I went into this thing is addictive, man.
How is it addictive?
It's so addictive. You sit in that 90 minutes, that adrenaline of that 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Right.
You don't come out. You forget about everything that happens in the world. It's just that 90 minutes of adrenaline. And it's so fulfilling and very nice, by the way.
I can tell you enjoy it because even some of your supporters say you've brought the fun again into football. But because it is also the International Day of the Girl Child, and I was talking to the UNFP about some of the work they're doing to help girls, what do you think about women in football? What has been your observation when it comes to the role and the presence of more women in football?
I want to tell you something. Let's start here. If you look at Bafana Bafana and look at Banyana Banyana, Banyana Banyana is doing so well, guys. But you know what we're doing when Bafana Bafana back in the days where there was a World Cup in South Africa? we were so illuminating. There was so much of fun.
Right.
And look at Banyana Banyana. They're doing so well. But the hype that we've created for Bafana Bafana, it's not the same like the hype that we are creating for Banyana Banyana. So there's always, yes, we might be liberated as the country, but we're still not doing as well as we can in supporting women that are in football. Look at our football here in South Africa for women. Do you know about it?
A bit about it.
As much as you will know about
no, it's
the
not
men's
as in
soccer.
my face, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? There's also a woman's, there's not the hype that is created for the men's football and the women's football is different. So you'll understand as well, you know, when I play with some of the teams and they get beaten by me, they don't say they're beaten by Royal AM. They'll be like, hey, Lumfazi, why nisbithisa ngalumfazi? You understand? And it's there. It's the stigma that we still have to go a long way understanding that, or living what we're preaching, saying that we are all equal.
Yeah. And what would you like to see happen? Because that conversation also transcends into finances, saying that even the women that are in football, even sports overall, are not paid the same as their male counterparts. We still see women being underpaid. What would you like to see happen? And what role do you think you can play there?
I think as women, we need to go out there and we need to stand up for what we think is right. The worst part of it is that we have to put an extra energy and work triple harder as men for us to be recognized. But let's break those boundaries. Those boundaries are there for us to break them. If we don't stand up and break them, if we always think that men are always better than us, we need men to conquer the world, then we are not going to break those boundaries. Yeah. Let's stand up and say, women power.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it on a better day, which is International Day of the Girl Child. I want to also talk about your sort of like your dibble and dabbling into reality TV. We got a taste of Mkize. Are we seeing her back? And how was that experience like out of the many things that you have done and experienced?
Let me tell you something. I know, you know, everything that I venture into, it always, you know, when I went into reality TV, I wanted to gain my surname back. I wanted to gain my identity because I felt like my identity was lost. Indeed, I found my identity, but in the process when I was trying to find my identity, I know I've inspired a lot of people. And now I was stuck with this thing to say, okay, season 2, and everybody wanted season 2.
Right.
And for me, my purpose was served. I found my identity, I found myself, and people were able to relate to me as Ushon Mkize.
Right.
Not as something else, but as me. And now I found my niche, I found my identity. I'm no longer there. But that's why I've created the Instagram, so that people that felt like they were so much inspired by Mkize, they can still go onto Instagram page and find the inspiration there. Because I still give those inspiration.
Did you think it was because before the reality TV show, maybe you didn't own your story, you didn't own your narrative? You know, people can say whatever and you didn't have a platform to show your real self, your true self, your authentic self. So you wanted to take that power back and own your own narrative.
To tell you the honest truth, sometimes perception becomes a reality. And I think I was zoom into the space of the social media, and the perception that was created by the media, it became a reality. And for me to say, this is me and this is who I am. And if you look at the perception that was created before, some of it I still deal with it now and again. Before I used to be called a controversial businesswoman.
Right.
But now I'm properly a businesswoman because people, they understand what I do. But the perception that was created before, it has changed me and made me to become somebody that I'm not. So for me, I think the platform that I've created, the Instagram that I've created, it's the platform that allows people to interact and understand who Ushon Mkize is and what I'm made of.
And I think people having direct access to you and not having to speak to you through the media also has allowed them to feel that you are relatable. You're relatable because they can then just DM you or send you a comment and you may reply. We're heading to elections, and I have to ask you this because I know that you're coming from a family that has been involved in politics. What's the importance of voting at this time? We've heard so many South Africans, you know, Mkize saying that they do not want to vote. They're withholding their vote because they're frustrated with the lack lack of service delivery within their communities. And that's their way of defying and saying, we are actually frustrated. What's your view around making sure that people do, vote so that they can, of course, gain their municipalities back?
Darling, I am not a politician. I chose not to be a politician, to be a business to be a business person. But I know how important it is to vote. Because if we don't vote, then our voice will never be raised. If I look at me, I think I'm part of liberation. And if people that are coming now and they don't want to see the parts of liberation, if we don't vote, then we are not going to enjoy the benefits of the liberation. We're going to go back there. It is very imperative for everybody else to go out there and vote so that they'll be able to make their voice heard.
Yeah.
Because if you stand still and you don't vote, then other people will vote. And you'll never know what will happen. So it's imperative to go, and if you feel strongly about something, go there and vote so that your voice will be heard.
Yeah, and I suppose, that the hard blood, sweat and tears that has seen South Africa have that privilege and that democracy and, that right to even vote should not be taken for granted. That's the message I'm getting from you. But I can't let you go without also speaking about COVID-19. As an entrepreneur, wanting to know the impact it has had on you as a businesswoman, on you as a mother having to educate yourself, your kids, your family around protecting each other, especially when we've seen so many loved ones losing their loved ones. How has this pandemic been like for you?
For me, it's been a difficult one. Most of the people, you'll phone a person that and they will say, oh no, he has passed away. We have lost so many lives, we have lost so many people, and so many people have lost their jobs. So many people have lost their business. It's something that the country was never ready for, and it has hit the country very hard. Yeah. But at the very same token, we need to be very mindful. When the whole thing started, you will see I was updating people and telling them about the stats. And I'm still saying now, it is important that you go and vaccinate. Because I believe, from what we've been told about vaccination, it stops, I don't know, it doesn't stop you from getting COVID,
no.
But it helps you not to die when you've got COVID. I think it's controllable. So people must vaccinate. It will allow us to go back to the normal ways of having our country back to it and having our economy back to us, because yes, as much as COVID is still there, but it's difficult. There are some, look at the entertainment people. The entertainment people, they've lost their jobs because their life is within the crowd of people. So if people get vaccinated, and I'll get to see the supporters on the stadium. I'm the only supporter on the stadium who's urinating for my boys. It's so nice to see the supporters back at the stadium again.
And I'm sure that's what you would like to see more fans coming up and supporting Royal AM, right?
Of course. And you know what? I know this is not the platform to do this. There's somebody who has been using my Instagram or whatever, Facebook, I don't know where they've been using it, and saying there's an investment. Guys, I don't do Forex. I don't do investment. And people must know that is a scam. I don't know how many people they've been robbed with that scam, and I've been putting on my page. So people, they must understand, I don't have Facebook or investment account in anywhere else. So now that I'm sitting here, I'm sorry to abuse your platform.
You have to, because scams are big right now. Scams are big, whether it's bank scams, whether it's cyber scams, whether it's, social media scams. It's important to make sure that we, send the right messaging and not fake news. But I'm also going to let you go in a few moments. Before I do, you move from construction to Royal AM. What's next for Mamkhize? What else do we expect? Anything that you would like to let the country know about?
The sky is the limit with me. And I always go for something that is very challenging. All what I can tell the country, or all what I can tell people that follow me, is that more things is coming. And I'm still going to surprise the country, because I always surprise the country, and that's me.
I like the sound of that. Mamkhize, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for
coming into studio and for joining us. That's, of course, Mamkhize, joining us right here on the South African Morning. I have to say, I really enjoyed. What was left was just, I don't know, coffee and tea and croissants. Sorry for being bad host. We're supposed to at least bring something for Mamkhize, but taking her time out to share with us, of course, her plans for the future, but also how she's been coping with COVID-19, and also her enjoying Royal AM and being the owner of the football club. All right.